Hello and welcome to the Temple of Tomes with your host, Indie Comics Jones. Today is August 30th, 2022. This is episode 540. This is take two. And we're going to take a look at End After End. This is issue number 1 coming out from Vault Comics. I've liked some of their stuff quite a bit. This one's a miss for me. I can't recommend it. It does have an interesting premise. This book does come in at a whopping $3.99. I'm going to do a little bit shorter version than I did in the other one. It just kind of dragged on. The storyline is incoherent to me. It just jumps around from one thing to another, not really giving you a lot of explanation. But the main deal in this is if you die, you get sent to another place, and this other place is a war going on, and then as long as you're still alive in that war, then you move on. Then I guess you just keep reliving this endless war over and over again until you die again, and then you move on to some other plane. So let's take a quick look to see who worked on this. Okay, I'm having a little trouble reading this. Looks like David Andre and Tim Daniel were the writers. Sunandu C. was the artist. Kurt Michael Russell was the colorist, and Jim Campbell was the letterer. And we get some other covers down here by Liana Kangas and Sunedo C. We do get a short glossary of some of the people in here. The reluctant foot soldier, Walter Woolham. We'll see him in just a moment here. Here is the flawed mentor, Grink, and here's our hero of the whole thing, the unstoppable warrior, the Katha. Okay, so here's our Walter Woolham. He's at the train station. He sees some fancy-looking bug flying around, so he wants to take a video of it. And of course, he's so intrigued by this, he steps off into the oncoming BART train arriving at his station, and it kills him. So everything goes black at first. Then he kind of stumbles through and wakes up, and right in the middle of a war, he wakes up next to this decapitated soldier, only to find out he has been suddenly drafted into this army of different types of soldiers. And here is his so-called mentor. And what we'll see here is we'll see people from all ages. And all we know is when you die, you move off of this plane onto something else. Now, this particular guy can actually fly for some reason. I'm not sure why. Sometimes he's dressed like this pilot. Sometimes he's dressed like a Confederate soldier. Not sure why. And this is what they're fighting. They're fighting this gigantic beast, and it's got this little control tower on it that holds like evil armies and an evil leader. Now we can see part of the other army that he is joined with. There's a World War II guy. Here's a World War I guy. There's a samurai. Looks like a Roman soldier, a Troy soldier. We have this guy over here. I'm not sure where he's from. And just a whole different hodgepodge of different ones. Here's a Viking helping out. You can see he's got his war axe here. Assuming he's a Viking or something like that. And I'm not sure if this thing's dead or it's continuing to fight or what. They call for the armory so that they can outfit Walter with a sword and shield. He's only wanting to use the shield though. And then he sees the warrior and he says she's lovely, even though he's looking at her this way. I don't know what he's seeing. And I assume this is her as well. The hood down, but I'm not sure. This thing just jumps back and forth a lot, and we'll see that in just a moment here, because they're just all kind of standing around now, looking at the warrior. I forget they called her the unstoppable warrior, the Katha, and here's the bad guys that they are fighting. And there you can see they're atop that control tower on top of the big worm. And here is the leader of the group that they are trying to kill off for sure. And as you can see, here's our flawed mentor, and Willem looking the other way. He's trying to teach him how to use these weapons that he's got. He's reluctant to use the sword. He'll use the shield, not the sword. And he's looking at some of his other people that he's fighting with. You can see there's the Roman. There's some kind of, I don't know if she's a green elf or what. I'm not quite sure what's going on with that. They don't really explain a lot here. At some point, he sees the battle's about to start again, I guess. But our next page, this guy's sitting there explaining stuff to him. And he is sitting next to this other gent, another Civil War gent, drinking coffee. And suddenly the bowsmen are shooting arrows in the sky, and he's got his outfitted with the sword and shield. But then I'm not sure what he's doing here. Looks like some guy jumps in on him. He's able to stop him with the shield. And his mentor is telling him, use the sword, you know. And then we go back to this. Looks like just they're eating a meal. So I don't know if this is like a fight, and then they stop and eat, and there's a fight, and they stop and drink, and then there's a fight. Then we're back at the war again. And the guy just tells him, well, you know, if you make it through this, I'll teach you how to fight, but, you know, you got to survive this first. And there's this guy standing next to him gets killed. It looks like he's some kind of African warrior, judging from the shield there, the design on the shield. So he's still coaxing him, trying to get to use the sword. He's just as you can see, just says poke. He's like, come on. You know, you're just going to make him madder doing that. And here's our hero, the unstoppable warrior. And what we find out about her is she seems to have some kind of like a scorpion tail on her. And here's a kind of like a Genghis Khan type warrior with this weird shield. I'm not sure why he's got the green plexiglass shield on. It looks almost alien. And he's got like a flaming sword as well. Like I said, there's no explanation to what's going on here. And there he is, just drinking more stuff. They're just talking about things. Not really explaining anything other than he's got to fight to survive, and that's kind of the whole deal here. Now we've got this another war here, and you get some more of those weird-looking shields on our middle-aged fighters. More arrows. The frustrated leader of the bad guys. And finally, the endless warrior goes up to attack. And here's, I think they'll show, yeah, you can see her scorpion tail right here. So I don't know if she's stung with it or she stabs him with this curved sword that she's got. You can see it better here. It's a mystery wrapped in an enigma. All hail the Katha. That's the unstoppable warrior, of course. And then he realizes, he finally stops and says, so I'm dead. And he says, yeah, you're dead, but, you know, you can be with us as long as you keep fighting and learn how to stay alive. And then he dresses as though he's flying around. He's got like little wings too, and dressed as a Confederate soldier now. And our hero Walter Willem tries to pick up his sword, but he laid it next to the fire, and the heat conducted made the sword hot. And that's what the last lesson is: don't put your sword next to the fire, which doesn't really. That's how this issue ended. So anyway, here's some other works from Andre and Daniel. The Resonant. Looks like there's a couple things here. Maybe a vampire story. I'm not sure. Those are in trade paperbacks, and also The Plot in stores everywhere. And then we get a cover gallery of sorts. You can see there's the one we had here. This one's actually issue 2, so I'm not sure if this is going to be the alternate for issue 2, and maybe this is 3 and 3. I don't know, because here we go. There we go. The Righteous Fighter is the next issue here. So I don't know who the Righteous Fighter is. If that's Walter Willem after a number of years or not. But this guy's got beady red eyes. And then we get this. I'll try to read this best I can. My eyes are a little bit crazy. Life is nothing if not a series of endings. School, jobs, friendship, love, until the end. Walter Willem's end was fast and unexpected. His was an unremarkable life. So how is it that his story continues as cannon fodder in an endless war waged against an insatiable darkness hell-bent on consuming all of existence? And is Walter what? Oh, is Walter right in believing he's arrived in the midst of this titanic battle as one of the destined to finally end it? That's the tale of the end after end, and there you have it. It's not a recommend, but you might like it. I mean, I was kind of going hemming and high. It was just too incoherent for me to really to recommend. I think it's just too hard to understand, and I don't know if they're going to give you the backstory on all this stuff. Perhaps if they did, it'd be a little bit more clear and be a little bit more fun to read, but right now it was really difficult to follow. Okay, so there you have it. Thanks for stopping by and watching this review of End After End. As always, please like, please subscribe if you haven't, please leave comments, and we'll see you next time at the Temple of Tomes. This is Indie Comics Jones bidding you adieu.